There's a crucial difference between being alone and being lonely. One is a choice that builds you. The other is a prison that breaks you. Most people don't know the difference, so they avoid being alone entirely and end up lonelier than ever. Today, I'm going to show you the psychological framework that separates healthy solitude from destructive isolation. Let me start with something personal. For years, I confused being alone with being lonely. I thought if I was by myself, I was failing somehow. So I filled every moment with noise, scrolling, Netflix, background podcasts, anything to avoid silence. But here's what I didn't understand. Loneliness isn't about being physically alone. It's about feeling disconnected, even in a crowded room. And solitude? Solitude is completely different. This isn't just my opinion. There's decades of psychological research on this. And today, we're breaking it down into a practical framework you can actually use. By the end of this video, you'll understand the psychological difference between solitude and loneliness, why our culture gets this completely wrong, the 5-part framework for healthy alone time, and how to know if you're isolating versus recharging. Let's start with the science. Section 1. The research. In 1999, psychologist Christopher Long published a landmark study in the Journal of Adolescence distinguishing between solitude and loneliness. Here's what he found. Loneliness is involuntary disconnection, feeling isolated even around people, marked by negative emotions, sadness, anxiety, emptiness, associated with poor mental health outcomes. Solitude is voluntary time alone, feeling connected to yourself and others, just not needing them right now, marked by peace, creativity, self-reflection, associated with improved mental health and personal growth. Notice the key word, voluntary. Loneliness happens to you. Solitude is something you choose. But here's where it gets interesting. A 2017 study from the University of Rochester found that people who regularly practiced intentional solitude showed higher emotional regulation, increased creativity, better relationship satisfaction, lower anxiety levels. Wait, better relationship satisfaction? How does spending time alone make your relationships better? Because when you're comfortable with yourself, you stop using other people as emotional crutches. You show up to relationships as a whole person, not a half person looking for completion. Abraham Maslow, the psychologist who created the famous hierarchy of needs, studied what he called self-actualizing people, the healthiest, most fulfilled individuals. And guess what they all had in common? They were comfortable being alone, not isolated, not withdrawn, but genuinely okay with their own company. That's what we're building toward today. Section 2. The framework. So how do you actually do this? How do you be alone without being lonely? I've broken this down into a 5-part framework based on psychological research. Think of these as the 5 pillars of healthy solitude. If you have all 5, you're practicing solitude. If you're missing most of them, you're likely isolating. Let's go through each one. Pillar 1. Intentionality. Pillar number 1. Intentionality. This is the biggest difference between solitude and loneliness. Solitude is a choice. You're alone because you want to be, not because you have to be. Here's a simple test. When you're alone, are you choosing it or are you avoiding something? Choosing solitude sounds like, I'm taking today to recharge. I need time to think through this decision. I want to work on my project without distractions. Avoiding sounds like, nobody invited me out anyway. I don't feel like dealing with people. It's easier to just stay home. See the difference? One is proactive, the other is reactive. And here's the psychological principle behind this. When you choose something, your brain processes it differently than when something is forced on you. Choice activates your prefrontal cortex, your decision-making center. It gives you a sense of control and agency. Forced isolation activates your amygdala, your fear center. It triggers stress responses. Same physical situation, completely different psychological experience. So ask yourself, am I choosing this alone time? Or am I defaulting to it because connection feels too hard right now? Be honest. That honesty is the first step. Pillar 2, engagement. Pillar number 2, engagement. Healthy solitude involves doing something meaningful. Loneliness is just existing alone. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, yes, I practiced saying that, discovered what he called flow states. These are moments when you're so absorbed in an activity that you lose track of time. And here's the key finding. Flow states are most accessible when you're alone and focused. Think about it. When was the last time you were genuinely engaged in something by yourself? Reading a book that made you forget your phone existed? Working on a project where hours disappeared? Cooking a complex meal? Learning a new skill? That's engagement. That's meaningful solitude. Compare that to what most of us do when we're alone. Scroll social media, binge shows we're not even paying attention to, lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, ruminating about our problems. That's not solitude. That's just being alone with your anxiety. Here's a practical distinction. Engagement moves you toward something. Growth, creation, understanding. Isolation moves you away from something. Discomfort, effort, challenge. Healthy alone time has a purpose. It's building you up. Lonely alone time is just time passing. So what are you actually doing with your solitude? Pillar 3, self-connection. Pillar number 3, self-connection. This is where it gets deep. Solitude should help you understand yourself better. Loneliness makes you feel like a stranger to yourself. There's a concept in psychology called self-awareness, and it comes in 2 forms. Internal self-awareness, how well you understand your own emotions, values, and patterns. External self-awareness, how well you understand how others see you. Solitude builds internal self-awareness. It's your chance to check in with yourself without the noise of other people's opinions, expectations, or energy. But here's the trap. If you're using alone time to avoid self-reflection, to distract yourself from uncomfortable feelings, you're not building self-connection. You're building self-avoidance. Healthy solitude asks questions like, how am I really feeling right now? What do I actually want, not what I think I should want? What patterns keep showing up in my life? What am I avoiding by staying busy? Lonely isolation sounds like, I don't want to think about this. I just need to make it through today. Everything's fine. I'm fine. Why bother figuring this out? The difference? One is curious about your inner world. The other is scared of it. And I get it. Your inner world can be uncomfortable. But discomfort isn't the same as danger. Sometimes the most important growth happens when you sit with yourself and actually listen to what's going on inside. Pillar 4, maintained connections. Pillar number 4, maintained connections. Here's something that trips people up. Healthy solitude doesn't mean cutting people off. In fact, research from the Harvard Study of Adult Development, one of the longest-running studies on human happiness, found that the quality of your relationships is the strongest predictor of life satisfaction. Not money, not success. Relationships. So if you're using alone time as an excuse to ghost everyone in your life, that's not solitude. That's isolation disguised as independence. Healthy solitude looks like this. You spend intentional time alone, but you maintain regular contact with people you care about. You have a social life and personal time. You can be alone without feeling abandoned. You can be with others without feeling drained. Isolation looks like this. You're alone most of the time. You avoid social invitations. Reaching out feels impossible. You tell yourself you prefer being alone, but really, you're scared of rejection. Your relationships are slowly fading because you're not maintaining them. Here's the key question. When you're alone, do you still feel connected to the people in your life? Or do you feel like you're on an island nobody can reach? If it's the second one, you're not practicing solitude, you're withdrawing. And withdrawal, unlike solitude, makes you more lonely, not less. You don't have to be extroverted. You don't have to be socially exhausting. But you do need to maintain genuine connections. Even introverts need people. We're wired for it. Pillar 5, renewability. Pillar number 5, renewability. This is the ultimate test. Does your alone time recharge you or drain you? Healthy solitude is renewable. You spend time alone, and you come back to the world feeling more capable, more grounded, more like yourself. Loneliness is depleting. You spend time alone, and you feel worse afterward. More anxious, more disconnected, more tired. Psychologists call this restorative solitude. It's the kind of alone time that actually restores your emotional resources. Think about it like sleep. Good sleep leaves you refreshed. Lying awake all night leaves you exhausted. Same amount of time in bed, completely different outcome. Here's how to tell the difference. After alone time, ask yourself, do I feel more energized or more drained? Do I feel more confident or more insecure? Do I feel more connected to myself or more lost? Do I feel ready to engage with the world or do I want to hide longer? If your alone time consistently leaves you feeling worse, it's not serving you. It's not solitude, it's avoidance. And avoidance, no matter how you frame it, always costs more than it gives. So pay attention to the effect of your alone time, not just the fact that you're alone. Results matter more than intentions. Section 3. Practical application. Okay, so you understand the 5 pillars. Now what? Let me give you a practical framework to implement this. Step 1. Schedule intentional solitude. Don't wait until you feel like it. Schedule it. Put it on your calendar like any other important activity. Start with just 30 minutes. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit with a journal. Work on a personal project. The key is you're choosing it ahead of time. Step 2. Pick one engaging activity. Not scrolling, not binging. Pick something that requires your attention. Reading a physical book. Creating something. Art, music, writing, cooking. Learning a skill. Exercising mindfully. Solving a problem you care about. One focused activity. That's it. Step 3. Check in with yourself. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit quietly. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? What's on my mind? What do I need today? Don't judge your answers, just notice them. This builds self-connection. Step 4. Text one person. I'm serious. After your alone time, reach out to one person you care about. Not a group chat. One person. A real check-in. Hey, thinking of you. How've you been? This maintains connection even while you practice solitude. Step 5. Notice the effect. After your alone time, pay attention. Do you feel better or worse? More energized or more drained? This feedback tells you if you're practicing solitude or slipping into isolation. That's the framework. Start small. Practice regularly. Adjust based on results. Section 4. Warning signs, 12 to 13:15. Before we wrap up, I need to give you some warning signs. Sometimes what looks like healthy solitude is actually isolation in disguise. Here are the red flags. 1. Your alone time keeps expanding. Started with weekends, now it's every night. Now you're canceling plans regularly. That's not solitude, that's withdrawal. 2. You feel relief when plans get canceled. Occasional relief is normal. Constant relief that you don't have to see people, that's avoidance. 3. Your thoughts spiral when you're alone. Instead of peaceful reflection, you're stuck in anxiety loops, rumination, or self-criticism. That's not restorative. 4. You've lost touch with most of your friends. Not because you chose quality over quantity, but because maintaining relationships feels too hard. 5. You feel worse about yourself the more time you spend alone. Solitude should build you up. If it's tearing you down, something's wrong. If you're experiencing multiple warning signs, please talk to someone. A therapist, a friend, a counselor. This isn't a judgment. This is recognizing when you need support. Asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Let me bring this home. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. One is a source of strength, the other is a source of suffering. The difference comes down to these 5 pillars. 1. Intentionality. You're choosing it. 2. Engagement. You're doing something meaningful. 3. Self-connection. You're understanding yourself better. 4. Maintained connections. You're still connected to others. 5. Renewability. You're coming back stronger. If you have all 5, you're practicing solitude. If you're missing most of them, you're isolating. And here's the truth that took me years to understand. You don't have to choose between being comfortable alone and having meaningful relationships. The healthiest people do both. They have deep connections and peaceful solitude. They love people and love themselves. They can be with others and be with themselves. That's the goal. Not independence from people, but independence with people. The ability to be alone without being lonely. The ability to be with others without losing yourself. That's real strength. That's real freedom. Start with the framework. Practice it. Notice what changes. And if this helped you understand the difference, leave a comment below. What's one way you're going to practice intentional solitude this week? I read every comment. If you want more psychology-based relationship content, subscribe. I post new videos every week, breaking down the research that actually matters. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And if you want to dive deeper into attachment theory and how it affects your alone time, check out this video next.